All right, now move to the Bay Area. Last night's meeting between the Philadelphia 76ers and the Golden State Warriors. Philly jumped out to a 24-point first quarter lead. Then they took a nap, and then they closed the game with a 22-6 run. Final score was 108-98. Philly wins its third straight, and they're ninth in the last 10. Tobias Harris, game high 25 points and 13 rebounds. Ben Simmons added 22 as they continue to play without MVP candidate Joel Embiid. The Warriors, they were also missing their best player in Steph Curry, and it showed as Golden State struggled to score, particularly in the first and fourth quarters. Kelly Oubre did tally a double-double with 24 points and 10 rebounds, but he was the only Warrior starter to shoot above 40% from the floor. The Warriors are a game and a half back of the Dallas Mavericks for the eighth and final spot in the Western Conference playoff field. Okay, Drink, we know Embiid has been in the thick of the MVP race this entire season, but did last night's game prove Steph Curry is more important to the Warriors than Joel Embiid is to the Sixers?
Yes, it did. However, however, Joel Embiid has done so he deserves to be in the MVP conversation. But to answer your question, yes, the Warriors are god awful without Steph Curry. I mean, listen, if you actually think about it, we knew they was going to be bad. Once Clay went down before the season, we said the Warriors were going to be bad. But then, as the season started, Steph kind of put a band-aid on just how bad they were. Like, you was still like entertained by the Warriors, right? You still was entertained by Steph doing his thing, and then Draymond doing his thing, and you still got Looney, and I mean, you see enough guys that you remember off the championship team to say, okay, cool. This is why they still on national TV. This is why they get primetime slots, what have you. And then Steph is not there, and then you seen what you seen last night, and you like, okay, why are these guys still on national TV? If Steph ain't gonna be playing, like, what are we doing here? Listen, man. You know, shouts out to Andrew Wiggins and the Kid Poole and Kelly Oubre and like this is just not it. I don't know. Listen, I don't know what they need to do, but this whole Andrew Wiggins thing, I don't know if it's gonna pan out. I'm sorry. That whole ordeal, you could have kept D'Angelo Russell for this. I don't know. Like, I don't know if that's gonna work out. I'm not liking what I see. I'm not, Draymond. If Draymond Green is your focal point, like if he's the focal point of the team, when you go and play, other when you go play other NBA teams, you're in trouble. Draymond Green out here talking about I'm the best defender ever. Who? He ain't saying he the best scorer ever. He didn't say he's the best playmaker ever. He said I'm the best defender ever. Meaning, holler at me on the defensive side of the ball, cause I ain't gonna be filling up no baskets no time soon. And he made that very clear last night with his 6-point expose that he put on last night. So, with that said, man, these Warriors in trouble. And I do got a question for you, man. Before I go over to the Sixers, let me ask you this: within the next, let's say the next 3 years, do you see the Warriors getting back to the top of the NBA?
I'm gonna say yes because of Klay Thompson. I think I think it's easy to forget how great Klay Thompson is, and it's 2 straight years without him now. And I gotta believe with him, even in this game, he could have made it. He could have made a difference by himself last night with even without Steph. But it's just been so long since we haven't seen them together. But when we finally do, and I think we'll see them next year, these injuries have got to stop at some point. I think we'll see. I do think we'll see them win another title. James Wiseman, he'll get, he's going to get better. He's going to improve. And Draymond operating as the third guy and the secondary playmaker that he is. Everybody, because you can see what's happening, particularly in this game. And in the next game that we'll talk about too. Everybody's playing outside their role, so it doesn't fit. Like, Draymond, guys are trying to do too much. I mean, Andrew Wiggins last night, it looked like Andrew Wiggins has a clause in his contract that says, I will absolutely do nothing more than be the third guy, and that might be stretching at this point. You might as well. We might have slide Kelly Oubre on up. But yes, long answer. But I do think we'll see him again.
Hey, you hear that? You hear that, Kelly? You got to move up in the rotation. But okay, so cool. I appreciate that answer. Like I don't think they. I think they done. Me personally,
It could be.
I think they're done. Just because I think now Golden State might be looking to trade Clay here sometime soon. And then, you know, like you just don't, the Warriors just don't have enough. Like, I understand we be focused on the big three there, but like they used to have guys outside the big three that used to be able to get it done. Wiseman look like he can be something. Poole, he could possibly. Lee, these are okay guys, but I don't think these guys winning you a series. If you make it to the playoffs, I don't think these guys gonna win you a series. I'm sorry, but they don't have the Harrison Barnes. They don't have, those role play the Barbosas and
you're looking for the Iguodala's and the Livingstons. Yeah,
you know what I'm saying? Like they don't have those guys that was dependable night in and night out. So I find it very hard. Maybe they revamp the team and tell me to sit my $5 down, but I don't know. We'll see. But to the 76ers. Doc Rivers. It was looking a little rough for one Doc Rivers when he got let go by the Los Angeles Clippers after that embarrassing loss last year. Embarrassing loss to the the Denver Nuggets in the Western Conference semifinals. And we had our segment on Doc Rivers, and I agree with you. Like we were saying, hey, Doc might be a little bit overrated. He ain't done much since the Boston days. So like, why is he still like coveted? Why is he still Doc Rivers like? And we said if he don't make it happen with the 76ers, this might be his last stop for quite a while. Well, he seemed like he got it happening with the 76ers. That's all I'm saying. Last year, we was talking about what needs to happen with the 76ers. Do they need to trade either Embiid or Simmons? Do they need to get rid of, what was the coach name? Brett Brown. Do they need to get rid of Brett Brown? When is the GM going to do something? Because he seemed to be sitting on his hand. We was trying to figure this out, right? And fast forward to this year, they got a new coach. And this coach, the one thing we gave Doc Rivers credit for, we said, hey, Doc Rivers know how to coach egos. He know how to coach superstars. He know how to get them to play together. Now, he might not top out with the effort, meaning he might not, win an NBA championship or a Western Conference championship, but he usually have a team that does something, like they number one in the West, or they're the highest scoring team, or people just like to watch them. That Clippers team with Chris Paul, Blake Griffin, and DeAndre Jordan. We just like to watch them because we knew what time it was. Somebody was gonna get put on Sports in the top 10. Somebody was gonna get shook out of their jersey. They was exciting to watch. Now it seems like, in the situation with the 76ers, Doc Rivers got like I don't want to say a younger version of the Clippers, but he got like that superstardom, and then they're young. They're not super established superstars. Like Kawhi Leonard, it's probably easier to talk to Joel Embiid than it is Kawhi Leonard. Only because if you sit here and tell Kawhi Leonard, hey, blanket blank, you need to sit down and listen, Kawhi Leonard might turn around and say, I got this many rings and I got this many final MVP. Holla at me. He don't have that problem with the 76ers. What are they gonna say? We lost to Kawhi Leonard last year. Like, we lost Kawhi Leonard 2 years ago. We didn't get it done last year either. Like,
Embiid will say, I'm big on Twitter.
Right? I got this many followers, and I like spicy chicken sandwiches. So, like, big fan of WWE too. Like, what are you gonna tell Doc Rivers when he come in there and he be like, look, Embiid, this is what you need to do. Ben, this is what you need to do. Because Doc Rivers got the cachet to say, hey, sit on the list. Hey, pull up a seat. Let's talk. You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
I think he laid the law down. He got there. And let me tell you something, folks. Say what you want, but a lot of stuff done changed with the 76ers. And if you want to say it ain't just Doc Rivers, maybe it's not. But I would love to hear the explanation. And maybe Jay, you gonna hit me with an explanation that I'm missing here. But here's what I know. Doc Rivers got there. Tobias Harris ain't looked this good since he was wearing a Clippers uniform. Like, he done had a resurrection this season. Now, he's actually showing up now. Ben Simmons and, I don't know how to say the guy's first name, but his last name, Thibault. Them two dudes, that backcourt defensively, both of them dudes might be first team all defense. Both of them. Yo, you know how hard it is to score on them dudes when they locked in? That ain't no joke. I ain't even gonna get to MB. MB gonna be the night because we know what he doing. Let me interest you in two guys that we was talking about earlier. First of which, Cork Mox. Yo, that dude was on the back of a milk carton last year, and we was wondering, yo, they consider this guy a shooter, but when do he hit shots? Like, I hear he's a shooter, but is he gonna make shots this year? Oh, okay. Oh, that's who you. Oh, all right. Yeah, no problem. All right, I got you. Danny Green, good old Danny Green, Mr. Danny Green equal bricks equal. We made a lot of fun of Danny Green last year in the bubble, and he know he came up short. He know he missed some of the biggest shots ever. But this year, he just trots out there in the 76ers starting lineup, and now he looks more like the Danny Green that was more dependable with the Spurs than he looked like the guy that played for the Lakers last year. I'm just saying. And then you got Milton, you got Bradley, you got those young guys that's coming in. But let me speed this up a little bit. Then you're getting the best out of Embiid. One thing we always said about Embiid was, if Embiid was to take the game serious, and he was to, treat his body the right way, make sure he got his body up, get into the game mentally, take the game serious. Be as dominant on the court as you are off the court when you running your mouth. Embiid will be a beast in the league. This year, we finally got to see that before he got hurt. I'm telling you, if Embiid didn't get hurt, he was the MVP. No disrespect to James Harden, no disrespect to LeBron, no disrespect to Damian Lillard, no disrespect to Embiid was the MVP. Because there's no way. The way the 76ers are balling right now, the only other team you give a shot to beat them in the Eastern Conference Finals is the Nets. And we still trying to make sure the Nets are legit. So, it's just, I just didn't see no way you didn't give him the MVP. Because if you do the best team thing, I know we're going to bring up Utah at some point. Utah, they don't have a player on their team better than Embiid right now. Point blank, period. Gobert ain't. Donovan Mitchell ain't, et cetera, et cetera. Don't let that get too far ahead of you. None of them guys better than Embiid right now. So, with all that said, Embiid I thought he was going to be the MVP winner. Now, these missing games probably made him slide back in the rankings. But if he was to come back and get it done beforehand, maybe he can get back into the leader position. But I thought he's playing some very good ball. I say all that to say this. This 76ers team is for real this year. This is for real. And kudos to Doc Rivers, man. Because I thought you was done, Doc. I thought you was done. I thought you was going to 76ers. They was going to dig you a grave, baby. But they didn't. They didn't. You there. You shining. You was the coach of the All-Star game. Your team is number one in the East. I'm with it. I love to see it. To answer the question, back to the question itself, the Warriors needed Steph. Because if he don't show up to the next game and it's on national TV, they might get fined. Because we don't want to see that crap again. Shout out to the Lakers too. So, hey, that to answer your question, I think Embiid is the better player. I think for the 76ers, but I think Steph Curry is needed more for the Warriors.
Yeah, I think last night, like if you just want to look at last night by himself, yes. Yes, Steph Curry, the Warriors need Steph Curry more than the 76ers need Joel Embiid because the 76ers, they just have more talent than the Warriors do. And this is all to do with Klay Thompson. If Klay Thompson was in this game and we'd had the same result, I don't think it would have proved much at all. It may not. I don't think it would have proved anything one way or the other, because it'd be a more comparable situation. You know, each team has, you know, one of their big guns out. But last night, Golden State, I mean, they're just shorthanded with both of the Splash Brothers gone. So in the big picture, I don't think it proves a whole lot. It just proves that Golden State, without Steph Curry and Klay Thompson, they struggle to score. Because when you have both of the Splash Brothers off the floor, it deems Draymond Green pretty ineffective on offense. As you say, he's not a high flying scorer. This guy got more. I mean, he's more likely to get a double double with assists and rebounds. The points ain't he ain't doing much points, and the shooting, the deterioration of his shooting. People talk about Russell Westbrook and his shot, the way it's deteriorated. Draymond Green don't even bother anymore. Draymond Green's right next to Ben Simmons. He just isn't masquerading as a point guard. That's the difference. But, you know, this game, it was wild because I thought Philadelphia, they clearly were the better team last night. And they really only played the first quarter and they played the fourth quarter and really, you know, half the fourth quarter, because when they locked in on defense, Golden State was powerless to do anything. They scored 17 in the first and 13 in the fourth. In between, they got it going. I think Philadelphia relaxed a little bit, but they just struggled to score. And like I say, Andrew Wiggins got a former #1 overall pick. This is exactly the type of situation where you'd come in and say, okay, we don't have Steph, we don't have Klay, we know Draymond. Draymond's not going to come out there and load up points. He's not going to give us 20 to 25. Andrew Wiggins would be the guy you look to and say, all right, hey, we need more from you tonight, okay? Not that anyone calls him that, but you know, can we get something? Is
that inside information? Is that inside information over there? That's what they call him, hey, Wiggs.
Yeah, I'm just, but hey, Wig, can we get 20 to 25 tonight? Can we get some of that? You know, we missing the Splash Brothers. Can you put a little more splash in there? Ain't no splash. So, you know, 14 points, a minus 29, and just there'd be so many points of the game where you don't even notice him, because he just ain't. Not only is he not scoring, but he doesn't impact the game enough in other ways. You don't really think of him as an elite defender. You don't think of him as a playmaker for other guys. Like I said before, it's almost like he just has like conceded, okay, I'm going to be no more than a third option. That's all I'm interested in. When he's got the talent of at least the #2 option. The guy has all the talent in the world. He's got the requisite size. He can shoot from everywhere, got a good handle. He should be better than this, and he should be the guy you look to in a game like this to step up and take over. And if he could have given anything close to what he's capable of, this could have been a different story. But just, I mean, like, ain't no way guys like Jordan Poole and Damian Lee should be outscoring you. And I don't know why Poole is taking more shots than Wiggins, but I thought Oubre was really good last night. He kept them in it, and when they got really hot in the third quarter, they started making threes, and their defense, they're sixth in defensive efficiency. Their defense is a little underrated. Wiseman is still struggling, trying to catch his stride. I really feel like, you know, outside of playing above the rim, you know, his post game and some of the rest of the things that we know he can do, he still is struggling at this level just a bit. But you can tell he's one of those guys that's going to get better as time goes on. But to Philly, Philly is for real. Um, and I think Doc Rivers does deserve quite a bit of credit for this. But I would also just look at this as a little bit of indictment against Brett Brown because I don't think all that much has changed. They've made some changes. Danny Green, I think that's a really good move, even though he's prone to long stretches to where he'll disappear. But one thing we've kind of lamented for the last couple seasons is Philadelphia never seems to have enough shooting. Because when you have Embiid and Simmons, those are guys who are primarily going to be in the paint. And we saw it last year. Like now they want to add Horford into the mix. We just felt like that didn't make a whole lot of sense. But you get a guy in Danny Green. They already had Korkmaz, Shake Milton. He's nothing to play with. His game has gotten a little bit better. He's doing a little bit more. You mentioned Thibault. Don't forget about guys like Mike Scott. So they're not only are they very talented, they're really deep. They're really deep. And you know how much I like teams that have great depth. And yeah, Tobias Harris, that was impressive. 25 and 13. And when Embiid is not there, Tobias Harris has to be the guy. If Embiid's not going to play, he's the guy that you have to look to down the stretch, because Ben Simmons, as talented as he is, he just doesn't score in enough areas to lead you.
Right.
So, and that's no knock against Ben Simmons. I'm not going to belabor the point of the jump shot and all that, but that's just where we are at this point. But Tobias Harris, much like Andrew Wiggins did not do what he should have needed to do for the Warriors, Tobias Harris was the guy to me that led Philadelphia. Very impressive performance. I've been critical of him in the past, but not the time for that night. He was sensational in this game, and just in the end, it's just a case of Philadelphia. They're locked and loaded, even though they don't have Embiid, but they still have so much talent to where they can, and they've been playing pretty well without him. They're on a hot streak, as I mentioned earlier.
Right.
Golden State, without Steph and without Clay, those are their two big time scorers. Oubre and Wiggins can supplement, but only Oubre really, to me, brought it last night. Wiggins just wasn't good enough.
Well, look, all I need. Not only are they not good enough, they damn near unwatchable. Like without them two, it's hard to watch them.
Offensively, they're tough to watch, but also it is we do have to remember it is Philadelphia, and as you said, Philadelphia that's an elite defensive team.
Right.
So the problems with not having Steph and Clay were only exasperated by playing an elite defensive team, and in the first and fourth quarters it showed because they really couldn't do much anything.